So Ryan, you have a very large gym. Can you talk to me about the layout of the two facilities here on East Pender Street?
So the main facility, as soon as you walk in, we have our front desk area. We have a little merchandise area with our gear as well as clothing, and we also have a smoothie bar. Actually, I gotta talk about the smoothie bar because they got really good smoothies. You can head downstairs, and as soon as you head downstairs, there's a conditioning area for strength and conditioning classes, as well as private lessons, as well as like a lot of our fighters, they do their strength and conditioning for their fights. Then we also have a women's change/locker room, and then a men's change room, locker room. And in those change room, locker rooms, there's showers, toilets, lockers, sauna, whatever you need. And even free soap and shampoo and conditioner. Then you go to the main floor. On our main floor is our main kickboxing area. Then you go to the top floor. We have our jiu-jitsu area. We also have bags set up too, because we run sometimes kickboxing and jiu-jitsu classes at the same time. We also have a ring upstairs. And then in the back of the main floor, we have a VIP room/private area. So for private lessons, and also too, to say for people when they're trying it out for the first time, sometimes it can be intimidating. So we put them in the room in a smaller area, and then they get more one-on-one attention. You know, they feel more comfortable. And then also too, we do not have a cage. So what we do is we use that back room because it's fully padded and fully matted. We close the door, and there's been some good sparring matches back there. Then you head over to this boxing area, which we are in now. Right at the front, you have another merchandise area. You got a bunch of bags. We have our second conditioning area, which is a little smaller. That's for open gym time, so people can come in anytime they want. They can use the bags or the weights. We have another ring, which we're sitting in right now. And then we have another little padded area for more kickboxing classes. And then, wait, we're not done yet. Right above us is a beautiful yoga studio. The place is beautiful. It's one of the nicest yoga studios in the city. We offer room temperature yoga, hot yoga, and even aerial yoga, which Matt tried out earlier.
So you have a big space, but really what stood out to me is all the little things that we mentioned before. Can you talk to me about some of the little things that are important to you in the gym?
So let's go to the thing that I was just talking about earlier. It's like even the names of our smoothies. The names of our smoothies were all named after like Bruce Lee movies. Like number one seller is the Big Boss. We purposely made one that says Way of the Dragon, not W-A-Y, but W-H-E-Y. The Green Hornet, obviously, and then Heavenly Glory, that's from one of Bruce Lee's famous sayings. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory. And the funny thing is, that saying is actually in the downstairs. It's written on the wall underneath the Bruce Lee picture. So there's even more, like even Jeet Berry Dough. And oh, we had to do a watermelon one just because of the line. It is, be like watermelon, my friend. And there's more, like we'll be here too long. Other little things, like we have sayings, like motivational sayings on the staircase. We have a Muhammad Ali one saying, suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. Then the other one on the second floor says, we only have one life, why not do something big with it? And actually a funny story, because I did not think we could do this. And I went into a meeting because we had to get some partners on the building, not the business, on the building. And I was going into this meeting ready to say no. I was ready to be like, no, we can't do this. There's no way. I can't afford this all. Like, we're not big enough. Like, it's just not going to happen. I call him like my dad. He's like my dad now. He said to me, Ryan, we only have one life. Why not do something big with it? And I was like, hell yeah, let's do this then. You know, it's still scary, but that was the line that pushed me through, because I was really ready to say no. There's so many other little things. Like, there's even another saying. The other one on the upstairs is another Bruce Lee saying. Actually, you know what? There's another one upstairs. This was my coach always taught me, less is more. And then there's another one, don't pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a hard one. You know, all the little things, like the Street Fighter machines. We have 2 Street Fighter machines. And the reason the Street Fighter machines is because it's our lucky charm. Every gym we ever had, we always had a Street Fighter machine. The littlest things, from the matching colors, the colors of the mats, the colors of the pads. Like even in this gym, the brown custom Fairtex, old school looking bags. The posters on the wall, like if you actually look on all these posters, even some behind me, these are not just any boxing posters. These are some of the best boxing fights ever. Like there's right over there, Humble in the Jungle. I think behind me here is Thrill in Manila. Like Foreman Holyfield. Like you just look at all these. There's so many. I can stay here all day and we can talk about it all day. Like even the bathroom here, because we have an old school style, that bathroom over here is like a New York style, old school look.
You have a lot of these little things in the gym that all work together into a cohesive design. You also, like you mentioned, have a lot of custom gear. Can you talk to me about the importance of branding your gear and where the custom gear comes from?
Well, the custom gear is very important because it's all about branding and image. Like if we're talking here, if we're going to sit here and talk here about business and running a martial arts school, that's a big deal. Having your own custom gear with your name on it, and then teaming up with one of the best, if not the best, Muay Thai gear supplier in the world, Fairtex, and then we got to design it with our own colors. You know, people, like my best friend makes fun of me because he's like, Ryan, like what color should I do? Like he asked me something, like my best friend, he's one of my partners at my other gym in Arizona. I'm one of the owners at the MMA lab, and he always asks me, you know, like, hey, what should we do? What color should we do this next shirt, or what color we should do that? And I always laugh, and I'm like, yo, you know me, I'll always choose black and white. So everything in this gym mostly is black and white. Back to your question, it's just so important because it helps you, like as a business, for all the other gyms out there, it helps you put your name out there. And then imagine when someone comes in, they're like, oh, there's a DCS Fairtex Thai pad.
Mm-hmm. And along with the other little things and the custom gear, you have some big things going on. I would say one of the biggest is continuing the legacy of having Thai trainers at the gym. Specifically, you have Master Song. Can you talk to me about bringing him on?
So Master Song, he has a great story. He was the one to bring Muay Thai to North America. He brought it back in '79. He'll tell you that part. And I think there's a series on this about his story. Having him on and he was actually even the first Arjan in North America. So having him on is very honorable, and we're very lucky to have him. Like he's a great mentor to everyone. It's nice having like your own Mr. Miyagi type thing.
And then you've had a lot of other Thai trainers here, Apisid, Longsam Kran, Peach recently. Can you talk to me about who you brought out, why, and maybe what they've added to the gym?
So let's go in order. Like I think the first Thai trainer we ever had was Jun Sitmunchai. You know, he was great here, Mr. Nok. Then we had Lam Song Kran, the Elbow King. And then Boom, of course, Boom is like my brother. I love that guy. He runs that gym, War Watana in Isan. And then Peach, before her was Apisit here now. Man, Apisit is awesome to have. He has a few very viral KO knockouts online. And then Peach, you know, she was one of the best female Muay Thai fighters, and she's even still just a great Muay Thai enthusiast. She referees. She was one of the first female referees. She's still out there like pushing out Muay Thai to the world.
And because of the mix, I would say, of Muay Thai and your background as a fighter, you've learned a lot in the sport, both Muay Thai and MMA. One of the big introductions to Muay Thai is the use of small gloves. So how do you think Muay Thai could learn from MMA and then vice versa? For instance, I know you started training with Loma recently.
What good techniques and what things from Muay Thai can be brought to MMA? And the best things is like the elbows, the knees, and the clinch. And even the power kicks. Like those are great to bring into MMA. And because first off, there is not much clinching in MMA, because why? Not really, people don't know how to do it. But at the same time is that you have to understand that clinching in MMA is a lot different from Muay Thai, because in clinching in Muay Thai, you get the clinch. In MMA, you got maybe 2 or 3 seconds of clinching, maybe 5, maybe if, because it'll change into wrestling soon, and it'll change into wrestling quick. So you got to be able to change from wrestling to clinching, wrestling to clinching. And if you can do that, you're going to be way ahead of the game, because no one can do it right now. I won't say no one, but there's not many. Like obviously Loma can, and there's a few, like John Jones was very good in the clinch too. I know there's more. I apologize if I am not saying and they're not on the top of my head. Now let's go the other way. Because of little gloves, there's a lot that, you know, the Muay Thai doesn't know yet. I won't say doesn't understand, but they just don't know yet. And the one biggest thing about little gloves is you can't take the punishment of little gloves. You can't stand there and eat shots with little gloves. You can't. So one of the first things right away that you can learn is just the movement. The movement and the rhythm can help. Like obviously there's things that then people will argue with me like, hey Ryan, but you can't do that. You can't do what you do in MMA and Muay Thai because you gotta worry about takedown and you gotta worry about a kick. Yes, everything goes back to what my coach always taught me, less is more. So yeah, we always worry about head movement. Well, don't do big head movement, you gotta do it small. So you don't get kicked in the head. You don't duck your head down so you don't get kneed, but you gotta do some head movement to get off the line. And just that whole concept, like for us, we don't like to take unnecessary punishment. So just that motion and that movement will help. And even your head positioning, like one of our biggest things in MMA is we're always moving our head or moving our feet.
You have a long history now of fighting and then growing to the gym. Can you give me a very brief overview of the history of DCS?
Oh, I could be here for a while, but I'll give you the quick one. We started in my basement, my 2-car garage. It was only me, my brother, and Boom, who was actually one of my guys here, and then his wife, Frances, and then my cousin. So there was like 5 of us. I was living in the States at the time, fighting. So every time I came back, we would just train in my garage together. And everyone always told me, hey, Ryan, let's open a gym. Oh, you should open a gym here. You should open a gym here. And then I'm like, okay, maybe. And then we started renting a little gym in the basement of another gym, like a fitness gym. And we rented it once a week. And there would be like 5 or 8 of us training. And the way it worked at the beginning of this gym was that I trained and you just trained with me and did exactly what I did. And then we started to be like, okay, let's just go 3 times a week. So we started training 3 times a week. The thing was that I was still living in the States. So when I wasn't in town, I had a few of the other guys run it. But, it wasn't really that busy. No one would show up sometimes. But when I was in town, everyone showed up. And all of a sudden, one day I came back and there was 20 people in the class. And I'm like, I guess I can't train. I got to teach now. I was still fighting at the time. And then finally, I did my last fight, and it was actually in one championship. And I just started to realize, I'm like, hey, I'm getting older. And, I always heard that saying, like, if you can do, if you can't teach. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I guess I got to teach now. So then we started, I'm like, okay, let's take this more serious. And then there's actually another story about how we got our first place. And now it's a whole nother world because that's a long story. But we started at 1,500 square feet. A year later, we got to 3,000. And then 3 years later, we went to 6,000. Then 2 years after that, we went to 11,000. And then last year, we went to 20,000. Now we're about 20,000 square feet with about 2,000 members.
Awesome. That's quite an accomplishment. Is there anything else that you want to talk about that we didn't get a chance to talk about?
I try to explain to everyone, the reason I opened the gym was I know that when I was a kid, if I didn't have martial arts in my life, I don't know what would happen. So really this was to give back to my community, and that's why we're so big on pushing our town, Vancouver, Van City, and then the area I grew up in was East Van, and then the area we're in now is East Van. We're also in Van City, Chinatown. So for me, this whole gym was more about people. And it's a funny thing because when I was fighting, everything was about me. My diet, my training, my sleep, everything. And all of a sudden this gym, it's not about me, it's about everyone else. And I'm okay with that because I want to help people, and I want other people and other children especially to have the same opportunities that I had.
Cool, thank you so much.